You think you need willpower to be disciplined? You're wrong. You don't need more strength. You just need your dopamine in the right place. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you how to hack your brain and build discipline from scratch using a system that's just as addictive as scrolling TikTok, but this time, it's a good addiction. This isn't self-help fluff and it's not a motivational speech. This is applied neuroscience. No BS. Let's get into it. Let's bust a myth right out of the gate. You aren't lazy. You're just addicted to cheap dopamine. Every time you try to be disciplined, you're fighting your own biology. Your brain has been trained to seek the path of least resistance because for thousands of years that was a survival mechanism. But in 2026, it's a trap. You try to study, but Instagram gives you a dopamine hit in half a second. You think about hitting the gym, but the couch is faster, easier, and feels better right now. The reality is that the motivation you're waiting for is never going to arrive. Motivation is a fair weather friend. It's unstable, weak, and dependent on your mood, the weather, or whether you had a good lunch. If you wait to feel like it before you act, you've already lost the battle. The secret isn't finding motivation, it's flipping the dopamine switch. We need to stop seeking immediate pleasure and start getting addicted to the process. This might sound like coach talk, and in a way, it is. The problem is that the word coach lost its soul because of cheap catchphrases and empty promises. But neuroscience has shown that the brain releases more dopamine when you perceive progress than when you actually reach a final goal. This is why you feel a rush when you're closing in on a target, but once you hit it, you feel a weird emptiness. If you can transform the act of studying or training into something rewarding in itself by tracking the small wins, you create a healthy, self-sustaining feedback loop. Most people fail because they try to change everything at once. They want to wake up at 5 a.m., meditate, and work 10 hours on day one. That's not discipline. That's a crash diet for your soul. What actually hooks your brain is the immediate victory, a small action that makes you feel like you're evolving. That's what lights up your dopamine receptors. You need to start your day with a win so simple, your brain doesn't even bother to sabotage it. Make your bed, take a 10-second cold shower, or write down your one mission for the day on a sticky note. The goal is to show your brain that today, we are winning from the first 10 seconds. When you start winning, it becomes much easier to keep going. You enter a state science calls action momentum, or what I call the domino effect of discipline. Discipline is a bonfire, while motivation is just the wind. The wind changes every hour, but you build a bonfire by adding one piece of wood every single day until the heat supports itself. You need kindling, visual reminders that connect you with the person you want to become. It sounds simple, but it activates your future identity. Put a note on your mirror that asks, "Are you going to be the same person you were yesterday?" Or "Standing still doesn't suit a winner." In psychology, we call this priming. It's a visual trigger that activates an emotional and behavioral response before your conscious mind can even argue. A well-placed phrase or a photo of your goal can be more powerful than 2 hours of a motivational video because it hits you in the subconscious. Now let's talk about your environment. You can't be a hero in a loser's environment. If your phone is the first thing you touch in the morning, you've already handed your dopamine over to a multi-billion-dollar algorithm designed to keep you paralyzed. You need to clean the UI of your life. If you want to read more, put the book on your pillow. If you want to stop scrolling, put the phone in another room. Discipline is often just the result of a well-designed environment. You make the good habits easy and the bad habits impossible. Think of your life like an RPG. You have a main mission and several side quests. Most people fail because they try to slay a dragon while their character is still level 1. You want to make $10,000 or lose 20 pounds, but your brain is still in the tutorial. You're trying to complete legendary missions without learning how to use the sword. Discipline is built with micro wins. Instead of a perfect plan you'll never follow, take a notebook and divide a page. On one side, list your missions. Drink 2 liters of water, study for 30 minutes, avoid social media for 1 hour. On the other side, draw a progress graph. Every mission you complete is a point. Seeing that line go up activates the reward center of your brain. You'll want to keep that streak alive. It becomes a game you actually want to play. To turn this into a real addiction, you need predictable dopamine. Every time you check off a mission, give yourself a symbolic reward. This is called temptation bundling. Finished your deep work? Have that coffee you love. Finished your list for the week? Order that cheat meal and watch your favorite show guilt-free. You're training your brain to associate the work with the reward. The graph becomes a metaphor for your real growth, and your brain hates breaking a visible pattern it built itself. Give your challenge a name, like Hero Mode or the 90-Day Reset. We all love a good story, especially when it's our own. But what happens on the days you fail? Because you will fail. The difference between a winner and a loser is how they handle the broken streak. Most people fail once and then give up entirely. They call it the "what the hell" effect. If you miss one mission, don't throw the whole day away. Use the never miss twice rule. Missing once is an accident. Missing twice is the start of a new habit. Forgive yourself, look at the graph, and get back to the climb. Understand that your brain is always looking for a reason to go back to the low-effort state. It will whisper to you that you're tired, that it's too cold, or that you'll start Monday. That is your shadow self, the version of you that is content with mediocrity. Every time you act in spite of that voice, you're not just finishing a task. You're literally rewiring your neural pathways. You are casting a vote for the person you want to become. Over time, that voice gets quieter, and the disciplined version of you becomes the default setting. You don't need willpower anymore. You just need a system that works even on your worst days. You need to realize that the boring stuff, the reps, the pages, the focused hours, is actually the most exciting thing you can do, because it's the only thing that actually changes your life. Stop chasing the high of an idea and start chasing the high of execution. The world is full of people with great ideas and zero follow-through. Don't be one of them. Build your system, name your quest, and start feeding the fire. You don't need to see the whole mountain to take the first step. You just need to win the next 10 minutes, and then the 10 minutes after that. This is how empires are built, and it's how you're going to rebuild yourself. It's not about being perfect, it's about being consistent. Consistency is the only real cheat code in existence. So put down the phone, pick up the notebook, win the first 10 seconds of tomorrow. You already know what needs to be done. The only thing left is to do it. Congratulations for making it to the end of this. Most people quit halfway through. You're already showing more discipline than 90% of the population. Now go out there and prove it to yourself.